It's time for Random Lore Dump with me, Zero Daylight. Hey, everybody. I thought we would take a couple of minutes before the stream starts to fill you in a little bit about the world that we're going to be adventuring in. Partly because I worked really hard and it's super cool, and also partly because it's never going to come up in stream. I am 90% sure that the players are all just going to like burn everything down the instant they get there, and they certainly aren't going to be curious about things like, oh, I don't know, continuity and history and context, because according to some of them, juice, that kind of stuff is super boring. So while I have you a captive audience, I thought I would fill you in a little bit about the world that we made for this adventure. So we're going to be starting in a little tiny town called Dorian. It is a pretty cozy place. It is pretty welcoming. It's got a diverse population. It's a nice place to live. I mean, it's seen better days, but it's okay. It is located at the very southern border of a nation called Orland. Now, Orland is super cool. It is full of political intrigue and like rebellion plots and weird cults and all kinds of history and strange pacts, and it's very, very cool. And again, none of that's ever going to come up at stream, so just that I'd let you know. But it is not quite as welcoming as Dorian is. It's basically human, mostly human sort of land. Kind of like in real life, get a bunch of humans in one place, they kind of start to want to divide themselves up into various different tribes and decide who's cool and who's not. So our characters are, many of them at least, are not exactly human. Some of them like very obviously not human. So part of what will happen in the story is that as they venture outside the little village that they've lived in most of their lives, they're going to run into the wider world, and we'll see kind of how the world takes it and like where they decide to go with making a space for themselves and kind of standing up for the value of being an outsider. So that'll be cool. Or they'll just burn the whole place down. I mean, that's entirely possible too. What else do you need to know? God, I got so little time, so much to tell. Oh yeah, so just south of Dorian is what used to be another country called Voret. It was a forested realm full of elves and fairies and satyrs and centaurs and all kinds of other fey nonsense. Something happened about 150 years ago that changed everything. The trade between the nations dried up, and that's kind of why Dorian maybe isn't as prosperous as it used to be. It's also why Dorian has such a high population of non-humans, because the people who used to live in Verret had to flee, and they came to the area that Dorian is in as refugees. Now, the history of what happened back then is super duper important. It's like all the clues that our folks are going to run into are kind of relevant to like a very particular event that happened in a very particular place. So we'll see how curious they are. And regardless of whether it comes out on stream, my plan is to fill you in a little bit before stream, a little bit during our intermission, just so you maybe can know a little bit more about what's going on than the players do. And we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Maybe they'll prove that they don't want to stifle my creativity and just completely ruin the world I worked so hard on. It's fine. It's totally cool. The only real problem I have is that Juice's character's name is Portmanteau, which is silly, and immersion breaking, and I really hate it. But you know what? It's not like I completely control the entire game world and could find all kinds of creative ways at any given moment to punish him forever. I mean, who would do that, right? Right? Yeah. Think about it, Juice. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll see you in a couple minutes in stream, and watch out and see what happens. Thanks.